world woke up to shocking images this morning as a massive explosion tore through the heart of Tel Aviv, instantly sending shockwaves far beyond the borders of Israel. The sound of the blast reportedly rattled windows miles away, while social media erupted with videos, photos, and eyewitness accounts capturing the chaos in real time. People around the globe have been glued to their screens trying to understand what just happened, and the fear of escalating tensions is palpable. The timing, the scale, and the sheer intensity of this explosion have raised serious questions about the stability of the region, the motives behind this attack, and the potential global consequences. Richard Wolff, a well-known analyst in geopolitical affairs, has already shared his initial thoughts, hinting at implications that go far beyond what we see in the immediate aftermath. While the news is still developing, it's clear that this is not an isolated incident, but rather part of a larger pattern of regional unrest that has the potential to draw in multiple countries. Experts have noted that Tel Aviv, as Israel's economic and cultural hub, represents more than just a city. It is a symbol of resilience, innovation, and national pride. Striking at this location sends a powerful message, and for global leaders, it raises urgent questions about security, intelligence, and international diplomacy. The images circulating online are both frightening and mesmerizing. Plumes of smoke rising into the sky, vehicles overturned, and citizens running through streets in search of safety. Richard Wolff's insight into these events underscores a crucial point. What may seem like a sudden act of violence could very well be the spark for a much larger geopolitical fire. As we try to piece together what is happening, it's impossible not to reflect on the human aspect of this tragedy. Thousands of ordinary people were in the vicinity when the explosion occurred. Families shopping, tourists exploring the city, workers heading to their offices, all were caught in an unexpected moment that changed their lives in seconds. Social media is filled with accounts of people helping strangers, pulling each other out of danger and rushing to hospitals with injuries. This shows the remarkable resilience and compassion of humans, even in moments of extreme danger, but it also highlights the vulnerability of civilian populations in conflict zones. Richard Wolff points out that such events often serve as a stark reminder of how fragile peace and security can be, even in countries that are considered stable. The explosion itself, though details remain scarce, appears to have been massive in scale, with some experts speculating about the type of device used and the strategic intent behind the attack. Was this a deliberate attempt to target a specific government building, an economic hub, or a civilian area? The uncertainty fuels anxiety worldwide. Analysts like Richard Wolff are already drawing parallels to historical incidents, noting patterns in timing, location, and execution that could provide clues about who might be responsible. In addition, the international community is watching closely because any escalation in Israel has ripple effects that could influence global markets, diplomatic relations, and military strategies. Reaction from global leaders has been swift, though cautious. Statements of condemnation, calls for calm, and promises to support Israel have flooded press releases and social media feeds. Yet behind these statements, many governments are quietly assessing their own security postures, re-evaluating intelligence reports, and preparing contingency plans in case the situation deteriorates further. Richard Wolff explains that in moments like this, the immediate response of world powers is just the tip of the iceberg. The more significant impact is how these events shift alliances, trigger strategic calculations, and affect long-term policies. For ordinary viewers like us, the key question is often, what does this mean for our sense of security and understanding of global events? Watching a video of a city in chaos is one thing, but comprehending the geopolitical ramifications requires deeper analysis. According to Wolff, explosions like the one in Tel Aviv are rarely spontaneous. They are embedded in a context of political tension, historical grievances, and strategic positioning. Each incident carries lessons about the vulnerabilities of urban centers, the importance of intelligence networks, and the unpredictable nature of human conflict. This is why it is so important to follow informed voices, examine the facts critically, and avoid getting swept up in fear-driven narratives. Tel Aviv itself has a long history of resilience. It has faced previous attacks, managed to recover, and maintained its position as a vibrant hub of technology, culture, and commerce. Yet each new attack carries a psychological toll, reminding citizens and the world alike that no place is entirely immune to violence. Hospitals are reportedly overwhelmed, emergency services are stretched thin, and local authorities are working around the clock to restore order. Meanwhile, families separated by the explosion are desperately trying to reunite, sharing messages across social media platforms in a bid to ensure their loved ones are safe. Wolff highlights that these human stories, often lost amid geopolitical analysis, are what truly capture the gravity of such events. Looking at the bigger picture, experts warn that this attack could have implications far beyond Israel. The Middle East is a region of complex alliances, historical conflicts, and strategic interests, and any major incident can trigger responses that ripple across borders. International markets reacted almost immediately, with stock prices fluctuating and commodities experiencing sudden volatility. Investors and governments are on high alert, recognizing that a localized attack in Tel Aviv can, in a matter of hours, influence decisions in Washington, Brussels, Beijing, and beyond. Richard Wolff emphasizes that understanding these connections is crucial. The local and the global are intertwined, and events like this remind us how fragile international stability can be. As the situation continues to evolve, questions abound. Who carried out the attack? Was it intended to send a message to the Israeli government, a foreign power, or both? How will Israel respond? And will other nations feel compelled to intervene? Wolff points out that while the human cost is immediate and visible, the strategic consequences unfold over months or even years, shaping diplomacy, military planning, and international relations in ways that are often difficult to predict. In the midst of uncertainty, eyewitness accounts provide invaluable insight. People describe a deafening roar, a sudden surge of heat, and the terrifying sight of debris flying through the streets. First responders recount the chaos of coordinating emergency medical care while maintaining order and safety. These ground-level experiences add texture to our understanding of the explosion, reminding viewers that statistics and analysis can only tell part of the story. The courage and quick thinking of civilians and emergency personnel alike demonstrate that even in the face of terror, human ingenuity and solidarity shine through. Richard Wolff also draws attention to the media's role in shaping perception. In a world where information spreads instantly, the framing of events can influence public opinion, government responses, and international policy. Sensationalism can exacerbate fear, while careful, evidence-based reporting helps audiences make sense of complex situations. Wolff stresses the importance of differentiating between immediate news updates and long-term analysis, ensuring that viewers understand not only what happened, but why it matters on a larger scale. Meanwhile, citizens around the world are watching, discussing, and reacting. Social media platforms are flooded with messages of solidarity for those affected, debates about responsibility and policy, and speculation about potential future attacks. This global engagement illustrates how interconnected we all are. A single event in one city can generate empathy, concern, and action thousands of miles away. Richard Wolff notes that in the digital age, no event exists in isolation. The human response is instantaneous, global, and often transformative. The psychological impact of the explosion cannot be understated. Even for those far removed from the blast, images and videos can induce stress, anxiety, and a heightened awareness of global risks. Experts suggest that witnessing such events repeatedly can shape public perception, influence political discourse, and even alter individual behavior. Wolff emphasizes that understanding these effects is essential for navigating the modern information landscape, especially when events of this magnitude are broadcast around the world in real time. As investigations continue, authorities are piecing together evidence, analyzing security footage, and interviewing witnesses to reconstruct the events leading up to the explosion. While immediate answers may be scarce, each piece of information contributes to a clearer understanding of the motives, methods, and potential consequences. Richard Wolff reminds us that patience and critical thinking are key during such crises. Premature conclusions can lead to misinformation, unnecessary panic, or even policy missteps. The international response will likely continue to unfold over the coming days. Governments may convene emergency meetings, deploy resources, or issue travel advisories. Diplomatic channels will be activated, alliances tested, and strategic decisions weighed carefully. Wolff notes that the ramifications of this single event could influence policy debates in capitals across the globe, potentially reshaping defense strategies, intelligence priorities, and international relations for years to come. Finally, amid all the geopolitical discussion, it's crucial to remember the human faces behind the headlines. Survivors, families, first responders, and everyday citizens are living through the consequences of a single explosive moment that will be remembered for years. Richard Wolff's insights help contextualize the event, but the lived experiences of those affected are what make the story real, urgent, and profoundly moving. By paying attention to both the human and strategic dimensions, viewers gain a richer, more complete understanding of the incident and its implications for the world. In the end, the massive explosion in Tel Aviv serves as a stark reminder of how quickly the world can change in an instant. It challenges our assumptions about safety, stability, and the reach of global conflict. Through careful analysis, real-time updates, and thoughtful reflection, we can begin to grasp the full scope of what happened, why it matters, and what the future might hold. Richard Wolff's insights provide a lens through which to examine these developments, but it's up to each of us to stay informed, critically engaged, and aware of the broader implications for humanity, politics, and the fragile equilibrium of global security.